Portfolios are tough. It's not a one-fits-all kind of thing. In fact, depending on whether you're looking at videography, media, or design portfolios, they all look and go and feel about a bit different. I'll be sharing the portfolio that landed me a job in UX design in hopes to give you insight and hopefully ideas when creating or updating your portfolio. Let's jump in. Bit of a disclaimer before we jump in. This portfolio was done when I was still in school. So essentially this portfolio got me an internship, which that internship led to a return offer where I am today. So yeah, let's jump right in. Okay, so first thing I do is introduce myself and talk about who I am. So I'm Jalen. I recently graduated from computer science and turned into product design or UI UX design. Some fun facts about me is that I love to travel. The coolest country I've been so far is South Korea. I love being outdoors, hiking, walking, and I love sweets. Going into our first project, this is Menu Furniture. So Menu Furniture is a new business that's selling affordable high-end design furniture. And my role is to design an e-commerce website for people to browse confidently while also purchasing furniture using the home delivery option. So how might we lessen the fear of purchasing furniture from online stores? Well, first things first is we have to start digging to understand the problem at hand. And what I found was returning a product is troublesome because it's large, it's bulky, it weighs, and then our second thing is shipping and returns can be really expensive because of this large, bulky piece of furniture. And the last thing I noticed was also that some people don't get the same experience as they do searching online or browsing online versus walking through a showroom and being able to touch the material, see what the size looks like, and kind of the vibe it'll actually give their home. So, what are some areas of opportunities? To understand what other companies were doing, I decided to create a competitive audit to see what the delivery service options were for these other companies and how often their customers were actually using it. And here's what I learned. Some of the most common features that you'll see in an online furniture store is HD photos and a detailed product descriptions. In terms for their delivery options, that's as much as you get. Here's some areas of opportunity. Could be using AR/VR technology to visualize the furniture. Slight caveat, this was at the time when there's not that many softwares had this capability. I know IKEA was just starting to work on it. And I know they have like a whole really cool UI AR thing that you can do on their app now that you can visualize their furniture in your space. That was still being in the works at this time. So, little caveat there. Moving on. Another thing that I found could be an opportunity, could be to receive like a replicate version of that furniture you're looking at, but in a miniature sample. And the last thing, which is also low-hanging fruit, was an easy self-assembly instruction kit. So what I came up with was, instead of either having like a miniature sample or receiving a furniture either receiving a fabric sample, why not have both? Why not receive a miniature replica of the furniture you're looking at with the same fabric and to scale? So it was time to do some testing after I had this solution. So once I came up with a potential solution, I decided to go into moderate testing, and I got 4 users that had to complete the task of selecting a furniture they'd like and then requesting it for delivery. In conclusion, the users had a great experience receiving the actual miniature sample, enough to return to the website to continue shopping for more furniture or to purchase the one that they received. The one common theme or pain point that I did notice was the website itself needed improvement. The UI was not the most intuitive, Which leads me to the final design. After a couple more of iterations and testing, this is the updated design that has significantly increased the return of users to the website with a good satisfaction level. Satisfaction level. I don't know what I just said earlier. And now moving on to our second project. Now for this project, it is more tech focused, but it was essentially the project that introduced me to UI UX. So let's talk about it. How Chat Pop came to be. So the goal was for us to create an iOS media app for students to engage with other students within their major and or interest. And fun fact, this was a group project that was 9 weeks long, and it was mostly held by a computer science student org, but again, they introduced me to UI UX. So getting prepared. For my role in this project, I was both a software engineer and designer. And so the first step in this project was to set up the environment where we were going to build this application, which in our case was Xcode for the front end and then Firebase for our back end and storing our account information. So our leads also set up time for us to get familiar with Adobe XD, since there was going to be some time for us to do some ideation work. And speaking of ideation, let's talk about it. While in this project, it was mostly focused on the engineering aspect of it, our project leads understood the importance of having both a good user interface and user experience. So we spent 1 to 2 weeks on coming up with the design and flow of our application. So on our right-hand side, you can see that this was my final design that got selected to be the interface with some splashes of elements from our other teammates' designs. So design tech handoff. Once the team reviewed and finalized the design, it was time to actually take it to production. I worked closely with other engineers to begin building our design. And here is where I really got to understand and dip my hand at understanding what that design tech handoff looks like between designers and engineers. And since I was playing the role of both designer and engineer, this was a great hands-on practice of what that process looks like and just understand how to work through changes that had to be done last minute due to tech constraints, or walking through some of the design decisions so that our engineers could better understand like the flow of what our design wasn't capturing. And that was my portfolio. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will open it up for any questions. And there you have it. That was the portfolio that got me hired. Of course, there's been some tweaks and updates. It's not like the one-on-one replica portfolio that I went into for my interviews, but the contents and the majority of it is still there. I hope that this was helpful. And if you have more questions or want more insight of like, what did it look like to build out my portfolio, leave it in the comments, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.